ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events, and most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests, Elaine Roach, Signco Visual Marketing Manufacturer. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And Robert Mott is going to be checking in from Wine Country this morning, as he does most Wednesday mornings. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And you know, we celebrate every day, but today's a little bit different. We've been celebrating our veterans all week, Veteran Appreciation Week. Obviously, today is Veterans Day itself, and we need to stop and think a little bit. Obviously, I am very grateful. Every morning I get to come on, or every afternoon, and chat with you, and it's because of the brave men and women who have fought for, and in some instances paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to have that right every day to do what we do, to do what we enjoy, the freedoms of the United States. I would suggest you take some time today, and especially if you come across any military men and women, say thank you. Stop your day. Maybe you can go and find a place to go say thank you. I'm going to look right here. I was just told about the 5th annual Surf City Veterans Day Car Show. Huntington Beach, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. today. Go over there and say thank you. There should be a lot of veterans there. Just look up on your local community. If you don't have a community page, Facebook, look under Veterans Day celebrations. I bet you can find someplace to go and say a little bit of thanks. Look at that. We posted this morning a little bit of the history of Veterans Day, when it started, when the name changed, why it's a holiday. It's not just a day off work for those of you that are not working today. There's a lot more to it, and we're going to chat about that today. So think about the veterans and those folks that have paid that ultimate sacrifice so you and I can do what we do. We are a free country. Chatting a little bit more. Boy, did you watch the debates last night? I was sharing with the folks yesterday after our broadcast that in my household, as my kids were growing up, one of the things that was mandatory in our house was the kids had to watch the debates, and from the day they turned 18, they had to vote. And equally as important for the kids learning to vote and learning that responsibility to vote is going out and getting educated prior to voting. Anybody can go and fill out the forms and just be a robot. The issue becomes getting educated so you know what you're doing when you're voting. And I suggest a lot of people should really be doing that in more instances, is getting educated. Last night, obviously, the debates showing one side of the ticket, or what might be the ticket coming down at November next year when we vote for a new president. Talked about the ballot initiatives that we're looking at probably right here in the state of confusion, probably having 19 ballot initiatives. I look at that as one of the issues. It's really ironic that here in the state of confusion, we have 19 ballot initiatives and we've got a full-time legislature in Sacramento. Isn't this what they're supposed to be doing? But obviously we don't trust them enough to do it, so we've taken this into the hands of the voters directly. Simply amazing to me. If you are a veteran listening to us today, I just posted this morning as well, a lot of companies that are getting behind the thank you of veterans. Denny's offering a free build your own Grand Slam breakfast today. We've got Outback Steakhouse has a free bloomin' onion today and a beverage to all those showing valid military IDs. I heard one of their spokespeople on today. If you're a veteran that cannot get to Outback Steakhouse today, they've actually got a rain check available for those that are deployed. Love that idea. Little Caesars Pizza, free pizza or $5 hot and ready lunch. Starbucks offering veterans and active duty service members and their spouses a free tall brewed hot coffee today. Cracker Barrel, Shoney's, Applebee's, looking down the list, Hooters, Olive Garden, all participating. Red Robin. Obviously, these are some of the places where you're going to be able to go and say thank you to veterans. It's really nice that some of these companies are actually getting behind that as well. So just get out there and remember today. Got a little bit of a downer, though, that I do have to bring up today, because we did go and work quite a bit with our friends over at Solutions for Change. If you remember, we were talking about Solutions for Change quite a bit in August, September, and their big gala event they had the middle of September raised a lot of money to end family homelessness with an emphasis on our veterans. Well, yesterday, Solutions for Change lost a battle with our government. To me, it's just baffling how we can have an organization like this that has to battle the government of the United States, and actually the state and local and federal government as well. They had to lay off 20% of their workforce yesterday and decrease services to homeless children because the federal government requiring them to accept active drug abusers into their housing program. Now, can you believe something like that? You get a private organization, they get about 15% of their funds come from federal funding. 15%. Can be a lot of money. Ended up having to lay off people and put people out of their houses because of a group called, or a process called Housing First. And the only reason I bring that up to you today is we need to get out of this political correct absurdity. Can you think about that? I mean, you got an organization that wants to help put a roof over people's head, get them on a path to success, and they have to fight with the federal and state government. I'm going to suggest to you, I posted again this on facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. I shared the information from Chris Megason, founder of the organization. Reach out to your elected officials and tell them there need to be a carve out. I understand laws and you can't create a new law for everybody and everything, but I would suggest that you have to have carve-outs in some of these laws. When you get an organization like this that says, you know something, we can help a segment of a population in need, but we don't have the resources or the ability to help everybody. Unbelievable that you go through something like this, that they're dealing with this and having not only to battle to save some people, and we know that there's young kids involved and there's families involved. And if you go to solutionsforchange.org, right on the site, it talks about how many families, not just homeless adults, but kids, have gone through the organization and who they're having success. And then you have to say, okay, well, we've got this program, we're trying to get better, and you get the government in the way. How does that happen? Well, it happens because there's a lot of folks that don't pick up a telephone, don't hit an email, don't send a letter to your elected officials and stand up and say, you know something, get out of the way of organizations like this. Instead of fighting an organization like this who's trying to help, how about going trying to solve the problem at our Veterans Administration so the veterans that are coming home, can get the services they need in a timely manner. Or maybe they can even just get on a private plan wherever the Veterans Administration services don't help or are not able to help. Look at all these opportunities. Unbelievable that we have to fight for things like this. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to share some stories with you today that I think are quite moving. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to hear the story from Elaine Roach. We're also going to talk to Robert Mott a little bit about wine and his journeys as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
Some have said down through history, if you last, it's a mystery. But I guess they don't know what they're talking about. From the mountains down to the sea, but you have it with me, America, America.
Celebrating Veterans Day. Thanks to all of our veterans that are listening. Obviously, we know our flagship station, ESPN Radio, right there underneath the flight path for the Marine Corps Air Station. So it's a lot of fun when I go down to the studio there at ESPN and I get to sit in the parking lot sometimes. I think there's probably people that look at me like I'm nuts, and even crazier than normal, I guess, because people are looking at me like I'm nuts anyway. But there are people right there under that when I sit there and watch the planes taking off, and how thankful it is to just be there and in the moment, and thankful that, boy, especially those planes, I'm sure glad that they're on our side. Wonderful day here, and make sure you say thank you to a veteran today. That is our message of the day in the Your Credit Matters segment today, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. If you are a veteran, you go to Credit Sanitizer and make sure when you register there, let me know about it. I'll get you the discounts. Every discount we have available, we put them all there for the veterans. Credit card benefits for active military. Saw this report and I thought it would be great to share this today. A survey of 10 major issuers compared their basic benefits, and here are benefits available for veterans. Barclaycard and Citi offer 0 APR to eligible service members. Obviously, USAA waives interest incurred while serving in a qualifying military campaign. Capital One, Chase, USAA offer 4% APR on new purchases for eligible members. A lot of different benefits. I'm going to post this also again on Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Just a lot of benefits out there, and the veterans need to know about them. That is Your Credit Matters. Again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Red wine. That is our signal that it is a Wednesday chat with Robert Mott from beautiful up there in wine country. Welcome, Robert.
Well, thank you very much, Ron. Good to talk to you again, as always.
Glad to have you back with us after doing, Robert, you've got the life that many would love to have, out of the country, working for a little bit, and then back to wine country.
Well, it was great to get back to the country, and and this Veterans Day, it's one of those things when, even though I was going to probably one of the more technologically advanced portions of the world that's not the United States, of course, it was so good to be home and to get back here and went back to Napa right away as soon as I got back feet on the ground. And just say it's nothing like being back in the good old U.S.
It's amazing, because when I used to travel out of the country as well, I found the same thing, that we are so blessed to be here, and many of us just really do take it for granted. So it's amazing how until you've done it, you just don't really, I don't think you really get it. But let's talk about a little bit about wine now that you got a chance to go and do a little market research when you got back. I know somebody has to do it, right, Robert?
Yeah, it's a tough job. It's a very tough job, but somebody has to take one for the team, as they say.
Well, you were doing that for so long, where you're sampling all those wines, and now you go up there to the Napa and do it again. So I don't know if this was part of your trip this time, but the difference between a Meritage and a red blend, what is it?
Well, actually, not much. Red blends are real trendy these days, and for good reason, because you can get a great value wine that tastes really good, and spend a lot of money on it a lot of times. But I'm going to correct your pronunciation here, just because that's it's my duty.
Okay.
It's not Meritage, it's Meritage. It rhymes with heritage. And the reason why on that is it's actually a U.S. organization. It's called the Meritage Society, or the Meritage Association, and it's an amalgamation of two words, heritage, and it's merit and heritage. And so it's not a French word, even though everybody tries to Frenchify this word. I mean, even some of the most experienced somms that I know, that they fall into that as well. So you have good company there. But if you want to come off as somebody really in the know, call it Meritage because it really is it is an American conveyance, so to speak. But anyway,
I should have known that, being that it's Veterans Day. We wouldn't be honoring a French on Veterans Day, right?
Exactly. So anyway, so a Meritage is it's a blended red. It's a blended wine, not necessarily red, but most of the time it's red. It's all from Bordeaux grape varietals, no more than 90% of any single grape. So to put that in perspective, if it's a red, it can include Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. Now, less likely is you'll see a white Meritage, which could be a blend of Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, Muscadel. Those are the primary white Bordeaux varietals. But to put Meritage on the label, you actually have to be a member of the Meritage Society. You actually pay a little fee for every case of wine that you sell that has Meritage on the label. But it's something to kind of put forth Bordeaux-style blends in the United States from U.S.-grown grapes, primarily California. And it's a way to promote those kinds of wines. But to answer your original question, the difference between a red blend and a Meritage is only the word on the label is really the only difference.
So where does that come in with our topic? I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about cuvées.
Yeah, so technically a Meritage is a cuvée because it is a blend of multiple varietals of wine or using multiple varieties of grapes.
Interesting. Okay, so you see, Robert, after all this time, I'm finally starting to pick up some of these good hints you're giving me.
Well, we'll keep working on it, Ron.
Okay, got it there. So here's a new one. I saw this on the notes today, and it was very interesting because I just had a conversation with a friend. I think it was last week or the week before we were chatting about this. The collective tasting rooms, they're starting. I see that you mentioned about them being in Napa, and now I'm starting to see them popping up in different cities. I see there's one in right here in Orange County. There's several of them in San Diego. Tell me a little bit about these. How are they coming about?
Well, it's really an offshoot. I think is traditionally when you visit the wine country or the wine countries in California, as we know it, whether it be Napa, Sonoma, Central Coast, or maybe Temecula or wherever in California. Traditionally, people go and they visit particular wineries. Like if you're in Napa, they go maybe Mondavi or Opus or Cake Bread or something like that. But the downside of that, of course, is then you're just limited to whatever they're tasting that day. And so what's popped up is these organizations that provide essentially a service for smaller wineries generally, for those that choose not to afford or cannot afford the brick and mortar that goes into a actual tasting room, that and all the permits and the labor and everything that goes into it. So it allows them to show off their wines in a tasting room kind of environment where without necessarily having to take on the full overhead expense associated with a tasting room. Now, a little thing under California law, if you are a vintner and you're producing wine, it allows every winery basically to have two tasting rooms. One has to be, if you have two tasting rooms, one of them has to be co-located with the production facility, and the other could be at another location of your choosing. Now, these true collective tasting rooms essentially provide the brick and mortar, they provide the employees, and of course for a fee, probably a commission of some sort, they present and sell the wines from different wineries. So the great thing about this is you can get access to some of these really small boutique wineries. Generally, the ones that make it in these tasting rooms are usually pretty good and fairly high quality, but things that you wouldn't necessarily see out on the market everywhere, and certainly not brands that you may be completely familiar with. But you'll see a lot of great winemakers showing off their trade in those kind of venues. Now, there are a couple, just in case anybody is visiting, particularly Napa sometime soon, there are three there that always come to the top of my list. One of them is called the Wine Thief. It's down the Oxbow area of downtown Napa. It's, if anybody's ever been down there, there's a very famous burger joint down there called Taylor's Refresher. It's right across the street from Taylor's. Anyway, that's the Wine Thief. Another great one is Ventnors Collective. It's down at basically at on downtown Napa on Main and corner of Main and Clinton. They were if you remember during the earthquake a year or so ago, that was the kind of the poster child of the old buildings that crumbled.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's almost rebuilt now, so they're almost open for business in that location again. They had actually had like an Airstream trailer out there for their tasting room while the building was being repaired. But so they were still open for business even though the original building was damaged. And the last one that kind of really pops to the surface, and I was just here at this last weekend, is Mott of Wine Country. And it's actually what's known as a custom crush facility as well as a tasting room. And so this is how many of the boutique guys get away with having a tasting there, is they actually make their wine there. So it's a great little place. You can go in, they feature different wines every week, and they have a very wide variety of wines. And again, the interesting thing is the wines are actually made at that location. It's like they have all the tanks and all the equipment and everything, so you show up with your grapes and your winemaker, you make your wine, and they bottle it, and they'll help sell it for you, too. So it's one of those interesting little things that's popped up in Napa. But again, if you're visiting the wine countries, keep an eye out for these collective tasting rooms. It's an opportunity to experience a lot of different wines and things you wouldn't normally see, and do it in a great environment.
Sounds like fun. I'm going to have to go check those out myself. Great information, as always, from Robert Mott. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, financial markets, and anything else that seems appropriate. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
We are not strangers to a battle. We know that freedom is a cost. We may be bloodied, but we're unbroken. Despite the darkness, we are not lost. For there's an eagle.
Great song for us to use as a celebration today as we celebrate the Veterans Day holiday and our appreciation for the men and women that serve and have served our country. So make sure you say thank you somewhere along the day today. If you're not working, this is not just a day off. It's not time for the family barbecue. It's a time of remembrance. The Real-Time Real Estate segment today brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Yeah, you know that I like the programs that we create here because, if I can't create something that I like and I believe in, we're not going to do it. But the VIP Hero program, it's $5,000 to $10,000 in rebates for our military, active, retired, veterans, reserves, National Guard, law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, healthcare professionals, teachers, all of them part of the VIP Hero program. If you want, go to VIPHero.com, see if you qualify, and we'll see if we can get you some of those rebates. And I do want to make sure you are aware, if you are a veteran, of the tremendous VA loan program. 100% financing for your home. It's either to purchase or to refinance, and on top of that, it is the best loan program, in my opinion, the best loan program out there if you are a veteran who has earned this benefit. Great program. And don't let anybody tell you that it's limited. Now, the 100% financing does have a limit, but you can use the VA loan for any size loan. Now, as you get over the lending limits, then you have to do partial down payments, but you're still going to get that first limit up to the county lending limit, and it's different in all counties. You're going to get that benefit for a zero down. Think about that. If you are a veteran and you're going out and looking at an apartment, you're going to have to pay some closing costs. Structured properly, you can move into a house with no costs. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment. You want details? Give me a call, 800-306-1990. I will put you in touch with the right people. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the VIP Hero program. We have a very interesting conversation this morning. I believe it's interesting. That's why I'm going to share it with you. Elaine Roach is with us. Signco is the name of her company, located here in Anaheim. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. So tell us a little bit about your background, Elaine.
Well, I guess it began as the daughter of Lieutenant Harold S. Roach, Jr. In Pensacola, Florida. And that's probably because it's Veterans Day, where I want to start, because I am the proud daughter. Unfortunately, I lost my father in Vietnam in 1964 when I was about 8 years old.
Wow. Yeah. That itself in your story is a heartbreaking story. An 8-year-old little girl losing her father, but it doesn't end there.
No, I am also the proud mother of Private First Class Joel Kenneth Brattain, United States Army, and I lost him 40 years later, March 13th, 2004, in Iraq.
Wow. So now they have a special program that, from what I understand, for families, that was Gold Star family? Is that the proper designation?
Yeah, a Gold Star family actually began in World War I. When a soldier would go to war, a family would hang a flag in their window that had about a 2-inch red border on it, and in the center of it, it displayed a blue star. And that meant that you had a son serving in the military. If that soldier was killed, they would then stitch a gold star over that. And that's the designation of a Gold Star family.
Wow. And you've got that double gold star.
Yeah, I'm a double Gold Star. Not a club you want to belong to.
I would imagine that. I would imagine it's probably a pretty rare or a small group.
Yeah, I only know of one other double Gold Star. There is a mother that lost several sons. I don't know her personally. So it is a very small group, yes.
Wow. And obviously your story has touched a lot of people. You hear about it, and so many people we talk, those of us who have not served, we talk about the benefit or the pride of the country, of living here. We talk about those that we talk. That's what I guess is the key word. Those that talk about the sacrifice and those that pay the ultimate sacrifice. Your story is not about talk. Yours is about living that. And you were sharing that it took a long time even for you to come to grips with the fact of having lost your dad.
When I lost my dad, being only 8 years old, I thought it was my fault. I was angry with him when he left for Vietnam, and I had thoughts that I wish something would happen to him. And then when he actually died, I thought it was my fault, and I was afraid to tell anyone because I thought I was this evil person and I had to hide it. It took me 21 years before I actually spoke those words to anybody. And
21 years.
Yeah, it was my secret.
And one of the things that is very interesting to me is that you felt that it was your fault. But one of the things that I want to bring out and share today, you're so gracious to allow us to, is that there might be other people that are going through the same feelings and the ability of dealing with those feelings.
Yes, in 1990, I read an article in Parade magazine about Tony Cordero, and he also lost his father in Vietnam. 1990, and I lost my dad in 1964. For all those years, I thought I was the only one. Now, logically, there's 58,000 men that were, over 58,000 men killed in Vietnam, so there would be more children, but as an 8-year-old child, you don't have the capacity to figure that out.
Right.
So when I read this article, it just touched my heart. It's like, oh, I'm not alone, because I always felt really isolated, and that I was the only kid that didn't have a dad. In 1964, most families were intact at that point. So I never got to go to father-daughter events. I never celebrated Father's Day. All those things that just weren't a part of my life. So to find someone else that not only lost a father but lost it in the same way was just incredible. And I immediately reached out to contact him. And so 25 years ago, we formed Sons and Daughters in Touch. So it's SDIT.org. And now 25 years later, we just celebrated Father's Day. Every 5 years, we go to Washington, D.C. to the Vietnam Memorial Wall, and we have a picnic. And we actually wash the wall and have celebrations, and just being with other people that have experienced the same loss. There's an immediate connection. You don't actually have to express because you know that person understands. We do share stories, and it's a very healing experience. And we continue to reach out because I know every Father's Day that we go, we meet new sons and daughters or brothers and sisters to us. And actually, when my son was killed, the people that were there for me were my brothers and sisters from Sons and Daughters in Touch.
Wow, it's hard to even follow that up and share. So Sons and Daughters in Touch, is that available for people just on those every 5 years, or do you communicate through the website on a regular basis? People in need, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. SDIT.org. And we definitely, in our local areas, have small groups, and we get together for many events. One of them locally here for 4th of July, we actually marched in the parade and carried replicas of the banners that you see throughout the city of Anaheim of the fallen, and many of the Gold Star families carried either their own son or one of the other fallen in the parade.
Wow. I think we're going to take a break from that. I've talked to you, I've heard your story. It gives me chills every time. The fact that your family, you have given so much, right? I mean, that's your son and your dad both, so that we can all do what we do, and thank you. And we're going to come back and chat in just a minute more, or in a couple of minutes, with Elaine Roach. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to dispense with some of our other info that we normally do so we can come back and talk to Elaine. We'll be back in just a few.
Or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Robitussin soothes your throat and delivers fast, powerful cough relief. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough.
Oh, beautiful, our heroes proved in liberating strife. Make God thy gold refine.
What a great song for this Veterans Day celebration and remembrance. Take a minute today, maybe more than a minute today, saying thank you to the men and women who have served. And we're going to continue our conversation right now with Elaine Roach. Her company is Signco. We haven't talked much about your company, Elaine, but I want to throw something out there that maybe you can help us learn from. And something we were talking about during the break. And just to recap a little bit, your story, losing your father at age 8 and then in battle, and then losing your son in battle as well. And I wonder, and I brought this up at the break, and I want you to share a little bit if you would. Do people treat you differently? I mean, are they afraid to come to you and make a comment or say something in hopes, in fear of maybe upsetting you or bringing back a memory? Do you want somebody to say something to you?
Well, definitely people are cautious because they don't want to bring up something that would upset me. But the truth is I'm thinking about it always. I want to talk about it. I'm thinking about it. I want someone that is willing to talk about it. What usually happens with civilians is they apologize. Or actually, I end up apologizing to them because they feel so bad or they'll start to cry. And I don't want them to feel bad. But I do want to talk about it. And actually, the people that are most uncomfortable is the veterans. And yet, I feel an instant connection with the other veterans because I know they understand. But it's almost like a survivor's remorse. Like they feel bad that they're still here, that it should have been them instead of my son or my father. So, and they don't feel, what do they say? They say it's almost like a guilt that they have. And yet...
Isn't that the veteran mentality, though? Right? I mean, they went out there, they served, they've done a great thing, and then they feel guilty? I mean...
to be honest with you, I think it's a value thing, that they suffer with feeling valuable. The veterans go over there and serve their country for our freedoms, and that's such an honorable, valuable position, and then they come back into civilian life and they don't know where their value is.
Interesting. Amazing.
They leave as one person, okay? And any life-altering traumatic experience changes who you are.
Sure.
Okay? So now they come back as this, they knew who they were over there. Who am I here? How do I fit in? I knew exactly what was going on there. And I think that's true for the veterans and for Gold Star families.
So I guess the bottom line that we really want to bring out and share is not to be afraid to come up and talk, especially a veteran to a Gold Star family, that it's you're doing a service or a benefit by coming up and saying hello and chatting with you.
Absolutely. I love to have people come and talk about it. I love the opportunity to share what a Gold Star family is. I actually find that even in the military, there's many serving currently that don't know what a Gold Star family. So I love to share about that. I love to share with the mothers and the children that are losing their loved ones currently. I'll have mothers come up to me and ask me, what is their child experiencing? Because I was the child.
Right.
And today I'm the mother. And so I have it from two different perspectives. And definitely you become very numb. My son was killed over 11 years ago, and I just kind of isolated. I'm just recently starting to share again. It's almost like an animal that licks their wounds. You know, you go
right, and
you try to heal to get strong enough. And people ask me frequently, what is it that keeps you going? And quite honestly, it's respect for my son, because I know that he would not want to hurt me. When he left for Iraq, he said, "Mom, you're strong. I know you'll be okay." And I was crying and, no, I'm not going to be okay. And he says, I love you, I want to do something important with my life, and you're a strong woman, you'll be all right. And, it's been really hard, and what does keep me there is knowing that it would hurt my son to know that he hurt me. He was living his life. He graduated from high school shortly after, right before 9/11. So and having his grandfather, and he truly wanted to serve his country. And I had to respect that and honor that. And today, I know what he would say to me. Mom, you're okay. I'm okay. You're okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story, and now you're coming out, so to speak,
yes.
right? Getting out there,
not the closet.
doing things and going out, and it's almost like you're starting to, I don't know if the right word is, to live. I mean, apparently you've got a successful business. Tell us about your business. What do you do?
Yeah, if I could just touch on that starting to live thing.
Sure.
Is when my father was killed at such a young age, I really lived that section of my life for all it was, because I knew my dad was killed he was 31 years old, and life can be taken for any one of us at any moment. And so I lived my life very much alive, and living it to its fullest. And then when I lost my son, I always say there's 2 times that the world stops, that there's a pause, and that's when a baby's born or someone dies.
Wow.
And when my son died, when that knock on the door, which is how they do it, they come to your door, I knew what that meant, and I knew to stop and feel every emotion, because you can only walk through the pain. You can't walk around it. And it took me longer than I thought, and I'm not over it. It's nothing that goes away. You're forever changed.
I was going to say, because, you shared earlier that you think about it every day, every minute. So it's not like it's something that's going to go away, but maybe the right term is compartmentalized. Right? Is it's got that place in your life, and it's always going to be on the front shelf, but you've got to do other things. And I think from what you just shared is your son would want you to be out there and living and enjoying and honoring him. Right? That's...
Yeah, he was not the forefront kind of guy. He was more stay in the background,
But he obviously went to serve so that we could all do. Those that want to be the showboat, those that want to be the support person, the men and women that have gone over and served, they've said that that's their mission. He wanted to be important.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about. We only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to mention again, 5th annual Surf City Veterans Day Car Show. You're going to be there today.
Yes, I am.
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Obviously, it doesn't look like it's raining out to me, so we've got some sunshine. Might be a little bit cool in Huntington Beach. 500 cars.
500 cars, and the city of Anaheim has provided over 100 American flags along the beach, so you won't be able to miss us.
Beautiful, and your company's always out there supporting all of these events. Signco in Anaheim.
Definitely.
I know that I've heard some of the backstories that your company is out there helping all the time. So still, even with all that you've done and given, you're out there serving still.
Yes, I tell my story through pictures. Through signs and images, yes.
And I know that in Anaheim Hills, we've got a lot of those signs with the men and women that have served or have given the ultimate sacrifice. So, an amazing story. We've got to get a book done about you.
Okay, let's do it.
In fact, we're going to talk tomorrow about a gentleman that's coming in that there is a book, there is a movie being done about him right now. We're going to be chatting tomorrow. Frank Shankwitz. If you haven't heard of Frank Shankwitz, he was the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I believe he's a retired Marine and also law enforcement officer, Prescott, Arizona. So we're going to chat with him tomorrow and continue our celebration of Veterans Week and Actually, it's Friday. I'm sorry. He's coming in on Friday, not tomorrow. So if you tune in tomorrow, tune in anyway. We'll have some good stuff for you then as well. If you've got a business, you need signage, you need some marketing, go and support Elaine's company, SignCo in Anaheim. It's signcoanaheim.com. Also, don't forget sdit.org. Both great organizations. And be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Remember my mantra, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day, and remember to thank a veteran. Talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.